Hey, how you doing? I'm just taking some notes here. I'm a little preoccupied. The local TV weather girl has called for a massive snowstorm this weekend, and I don't want to be trapped up here on the Blue Ridge Parkway in a foot of snow, and it wouldn't be nice. All I'm doing today is a little video for my James River News continuing series on Thermos Cooking. All we're going to do today is share a recipe. Oh, gee, 30 degrees. I hope it works. Anyway, all I'm doing today is sharing a recipe for my favorite soup. I make it every day, every work day anyway, and it's a vegetable barley soup that I hope you'll enjoy as much as I do. I've got all my stuff here, and let me change that camera angle around so you can see what I'm doing, and we'll get to it. Okay, I've got the camera turned around. I'm going to use this tin can to hold my ingredients for the time being. I'm going to be dumping it in this pot to boil it. There's a car driving by up here. You weren't thinking about I'd be up here a cold day like today. I guess you got people out and about. I hope they don't get trapped up here. I mean, some of them have four-wheel drive, you know, SUVs. I don't. That's why I'm rushing this pretty much. I may have to redo it later. We're going to start out, and I say I make this every day. Every day I go to work anyway. We're going to start out with about half a cup of good vegetables mixed. I lost one there. You know, today we have carrots, green beans. It varies. It depends whatever I've got. To that we're going to add another half cup of blueberries. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to use, hold on just a second here. I'm going to use my funnel so I don't lose any of these. These are very expensive, you know, of course, and they're very, very good. You don't want to lose even one of these. And so now we have basically your blueberries, your vegetables. To that we add, and this is the brand I use, a sodium-free, can you see that? It's a sodium-free, I think I see a snowflake, sodium-free chicken bouillon. And to that I add, I like to put in, 2 teaspoons. 2 teaspoons of the bouillon. Let's see here, I'll show you that again. If you want to try this brand, I think you have to get it in health food stores, I'm not sure. And then we add a dash of Mrs. Dash. I just use this because I got it on sale at Sam's Club. You can actually use, why don't I just sprinkle it? You can use any sort of salt-free, sodium-free spices that you like, or none at all, really. I'll put in a fair amount. I always like to go heavy on this. I'm always sorry I did later. Now, arms get sore up here. Hold on a second. We add a tablespoon of olive oil. Now, you always have fat in anything you make. I mean, even if you're on a diet, I mean, this is healthy, and you really need this to protect your heart. So let's just put in a tablespoon. We'll guess at that. A little bit more. It's not critical. You can see there, the mixture's coming along very nicely. Now, if I was at home in my kitchen, I would add a tablespoon of Crazy Richard's 100% natural chunky peanut butter. This is a great brand. This is the only peanut butter I eat, by the way. I don't know if you can get it where you are or not. You may have to go online. I see they have a website. And all this has in it is peanuts. Can you see the ingredients? Anyway, so I add a tablespoon of Crazy Richard's. And you may think I'm crazy for doing so, but you know, peanut butter is a mainstay of many soups in many parts of the country. In Africa, for example, it's a great way to thicken your soup, and of course it's packed with nutrition and protein and everything else. But I'm not going to do it out here today because peanut butter could be messy, and you know, I mean, what is it now? What did I say it was? 30 degrees? Under 30 degrees? Yeah. So, I mean, I don't want to have to clean it up and everything. But anyway, so you see our mixture, and it's in this little tin can. To that, we just add enough water, and I brought a little water from home. It's tap water. Temperature, generally my tap water runs about 42, 43 degrees. I didn't measure this at home, but it's not hot. Add enough to fill the can to the brim. Now, if you can see there, I hope you can see that. Cap this off. And there's our base. Now, of course, later, let me see if I can get that, I'm going to be adding my, my barley. I'm not going to do that right now because I find that if I put it in the mixture and I come later, and if I add it to the soup, and later I try to decant it, it will stick to the sides of the pot and I'll never get it out. And you know, the whole trick is to get this hot mixture into your thermos as quickly as possible. And you don't want to be messing around, you know, wasting 5–10 minutes scraping seeds out of the pot and losing all that heat. So anyway, now we just put it into our little pot. And there we go. And now we're ready to just heat this up. We'll bring it to a boil and get on our way. For this demonstration, I'm going to be using that same little Pepsi Can stove, the same little homemade stove that I used in that video you may have seen. I posted last week sometime. It's made out of 2 Coke cans, and it's generically it's called a Pepsi Can Stove, and it runs on denatured alcohol. The stove will give me for 1 ounce of alcohol, and I guess even today when it's, you know, it's really getting cold. Even today with the snow in the forecast and the temperature dropping like a rock, I think even today it'll give me, 10 minutes of burn time, which will be enough, I hope, to cook up our little brew here, and I can conclude this demonstration, get down off this mountain before we get hammered. These TV weather women are rarely wrong. I tell you what I'm going to do. Now, the story isn't about this little stove, but a fellow I work with named Mark Holmberg raised Cain last week when I did another video on this subject that I didn't show the details of the stove. And, you know, I tell you what, I'm going to change that camera around and let you see. It's just for the hell of it. You can stay there. I'll come over to your side. Okay, I think we're ready to go here. This is going to eat into a cooking demonstration time, but I think that this will make Mark happy. And so, you know, what we have here, and like I said, it's just what is called a Pepsi Can Stove. It's a generic homemade alcohol stove. And, you know, as I said before, this has got 2 double walls. You have an outer wall, inner wall. You can make one of these. It took me about less than 40 minutes to make this one, and I tell you, it's a gem. So we're going to set it up here and light it. We're going to put it on a little heat reflector. Let me see if I can get a little zoom in. Oh, yes I can. Yes I can. So there we go. Is that centered up pretty good? Okay, now we take alcohol. This thing burns on alcohol. Don't use anything else if you make these. This one takes about, I find about 1 ounce denatured alcohol. I find about 1 ounce, let me see here. I find about 1 ounce gives me, I might have to get a better way to measure this out. And if I do these, I mean, you know, I just built this one for this demonstration. Then we have what we have here, and Mark will be interested in this. This is like a little combination pot stand windscreen. Made this out of a piece of aluminum I had left over from some roofing work I did on the cabin last winter when the squirrels tore my shingles up, and I just, you know, use this to fix it. And you can see it's sort of just a jerry rig thing. I'll put that right there. Make sure the stove is centered. Let me get my little pot of stuff here. I want to make sure that the pot will fit right on the thing. Sometimes I have to adjust these little rods when I use this to make sure it's level. I don't want it spilling out. Okay. By the way, this little windscreen I have here, if you turn it upside down, you can use it as a little wood stove. I haven't done that yet, but I'm certainly going to try that at some point. Now we move our alcohol well away from the stove. Alcohol won't blow up, but it can hurt you. Now I'm going to stand up. I don't want this thing falling in my lap if it falls over or something, which happened to me testing another stove last week, and it wasn't fun. So I'm going to stand up, get out of the way, get my matches. Oh, let's see here. Get some matches. We're going to light some matches. And hopefully, there's cold air out here. I don't know if anything's going to work well or not. I've tested it close to this. One problem with these little stoves is you can't see the flame, so you don't know if it's burning or not. Sometimes you have to sort of take that on faith. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. Maybe you can. I'll show you not being able to see the flame. You see, you can't see the flame. So you have to sort of take it on faith. You can hold your hand over a little bit, and you'll feel a little heat rising. I mean, that's one way. This is not. I'm not advocating these stoves, by the way. And this is not a stove demonstration. I'm just trying to make a fellow happy who gave me quite a hard time about not having the details. Now there we go. See, the pot fits on pretty evenly. Excuse me. Put my cover on it. This is a Snow Peak pot. It's part of a kit, and this is a little frying pan that's supposed to double as a pot cover. It's not the best design. And now we've got about 8 minutes. It's now 2:34:33. Let me write that down. We have about 8 minutes for that to cook, and then we'll be ready to decant it. From the sounds of it, we're going to be up to a full boil here pretty soon, and we may have time to go over a couple of, you don't want to be doing that. You may want to go over a couple of things. Now, one thing that's very important is you need to preheat your thermos. That means fill it with boiling water for, 5-10 minutes. And you're going to need a funnel when it comes time to get the product into your thermos, because you want to do all this. You want this to happen very quickly. You're probably not going to find a funnel that fits the top of your thermos. Some people make them out of. Hold on just a second. Let me get this one. You'll enjoy this. Some people make them out of old milk bottles, if you can see. This doesn't work for me because, even though you have a nice wide top, the hole's too small for the vegetables I use. And I don't use big vegetables. What I did is I went to Pleasant Hardware. It's a local old-time hardware store, and I got this metal funnel. And you see I was able to cut a big hole in it. Can you see that? And that big hole allows my carrots and whatnot to go through. And it's very important. If you can find one of these, I think this is the way to go. But take an emery cloth or something and make sure that you dull those edges so it won't cut me. Because these things can be sharp and dangerous. You can see it's pretty good. So anyway, those are two essential items you're going to have. I keep doing this because I can hear it boiling, and they're pretty good. And the other thing too is I said we need to preheat the thermos, but you don't want to waste the water. You don't want to waste the energy. So you want to recycle it. Now what I do is I take my travel mug, and for a travel mug I use a little thermos bottle here, a little extra water in. I'll take my little travel mug and I'll put the hot water right in this when I'm done, dump it in this, and use it later for an instant coffee. I'll show you a pretty good coffee brand too. I mean, I know a lot of you laugh at instant coffee, but some of them aren't bad. Or you can use bouillon, you can just something. That may not work for you, but find some way to recycle that water, because water is a resource. You don't want to waste the water, and you don't want to waste the energy you took to get it up to a boil. Yeah, it's coming up nicely. It really is. You can see those blueberries. I can see the snow clouds coming in over there. You can see those blueberries coming to the surface. That's always a sign that it's ready to go. Okay, there we go. Oh, it's very nice. It would have probably been done by now if I hadn't kept peeking, but I'm sort of in a hurry with those snow clouds coming, and I see snow hornets up here in the mountains anyway. At this particular peak have built their nest a good 6 feet above the ground, which is never a good sign when you find snow hornets that far above the ground. Now, this little alcohol stoves have intrigued me, and I've gone out, well, I think we're ready to go. I've gone out actually and bought a commercial one. This is I don't know what you call this, a Trangia or something like that, and I may be talking about these in another video. Because, I find these things are really, really interesting. I'm not into stoves myself. I have at home, of course, my emergency stove is a, full-size full-size camp stove, propane. I use it for car camping. I use it down at the beach. I use it, you know, up in the mountains. But I've never had much experience with these little backpacking stoves, which is basically what this is. Now you can see there, you got yourself a nice boil. I shouldn't do this, but I'm going to take the camera off the tripod here, just so you can get a look at what boiling food looks like and what's possible with these little toy stoves. Oh, look at that. Now, you know, most backpackers just use, I don't want to get fog my lens again. I did this yesterday when I was doing a video on a different topic. Now look at that. Now you're not going to find a better treat than that. And look at those blueberries and the carrots and the broccoli, green beans. Oh yeah, this is going to be a good meal. All right, so what we do is we're going to take our, let me cover this so it doesn't get cold. Let me get my barley. You know, the thing is, you got to have all these ingredients with you, otherwise you're wasting energy. You don't want to be wasting energy like I am right now. And I moved the stove over, so that's why I'm having these problems. So we take our thing. We're going to do this very quickly. We take our travel mug. I'm recycling the hot water here. I'll take this off. Hopefully you'll see the steam rising from this water. I guess maybe you can. You see, I saved the water. I'm going to be using this in a couple of minutes when I'm finished with this demonstration to make myself a nice cup of instant coffee. I don't want to waste this energy. Okay? Happy with that? Now we take this, we take our funnel, we take our little stuff. I'm going to stand up to do this. I don't want to end up with this stuff in my lap. So we do that. We pour in our, I don't know if I can do this so you can see it. I'm probably going to make a mess of it, but we'll try to do that so you can see it going in. We pour it in quickly. Quick. You see it all goes through that little funnel quickly. It's at the perfect spot. Then I pour in my broccoli. You want to get my naked barley, and we are ready to go. You know, I told you you have to measure it correctly. See, this is what happens when you don't. I actually put in too much water, which is a mess, but that may make a bad seal. I'm hoping it doesn't, but you don't want to do this. And I'm going to get a little chalkboard here and show you exactly what I should have done, which I didn't in a minute here. But let's just finish this up. You get yourself something, wipe it off, wipe down your thermos. You always wipe it down and put it in a sock. After you put it in the sock, you lay your thermos on the side. I left it upright in the video, and that's just not going to work. You got to lay it on its side so the heat will disperse throughout the contents, and that way you'll have yourself a pretty good meal. It's a fascinating cooking technique, and I think you can see that in an emergency situation or a situation without power, I think you can see that it can serve you very well, and it's something you may want to explore. Now, the reason I use it, I don't need to, of course, boil, to have to cook vegetables this way. You don't have to cook vegetables for 3 or 4 hours, but this whole grain rice that I like, or this whole grains that I like, be it wild rice, canola, oat groats, and in this barley here, it takes about an hour or longer to boil. And I don't want to be standing over a pot stirring for an hour. I wouldn't eat them. So the reason I thermos cook, and as I said, I do it every work day. The reason I thermos cook, or cook thermosly, if you want to say so, is because it allows me to eat a healthy food that I normally would not have access to. So you'll find there's some benefits to it. It's not a toy. It's not a gimmick. It's not something that doesn't have some sort of purpose. And I think you can do a lot with it. And I will be back with some more videos, or at least some script on jamesrivernews.com. Some more ideas on this, and maybe some follow-up on these little stoves. This is a commercial brand. And thing about this I found, this little commercial stove. Let me show you what it looks like. This little commercial stove really doesn't do any better than this little homemade job. At least marginally, at least that I could find, at least in my applications, it's not doing any better. But then again, I just got this the other day and haven't explored it. We're going to test this out, and I'll play with this a little bit, and maybe I'll do a little video on these. I mean, there are plenty of videos online already, and I don't think I can add anything except all those videos are 5-6 years old, and maybe I can add a new one. I don't know if that'd be a purpose. Anyway, have a Merry Christmas, and if you're into this snow belt like I am, be careful. It's going to be a bad one. The weather girl has said we're going to really get hammered, and so try to stay home. They tell you to stay home, if it snows. I don't think any of us do, because we need to get to work. And we've got things to do and places to go. And have a great holiday, and Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year. And make sure you eat your peas and stewed tomatoes, your black-eyed peas and stewed tomatoes to bring you luck, and some greens. Throw in some greens to bring you luck, collard greens to bring you luck throughout the rest of the year. And we'll be back later with more on this fascinating subject of thermos cooking. Thank you very much.